Hello, my name is Rudolph Hineko, and welcome back to the Sankofa show. Last week we talked about the Willie Lynch letters and how it has impacted our lives as black people. We started reading the letters of Willie Lynch, and we got to distrust, envy, and adulation. So today we are going to continue reading the rest of the letters, and then after that I will explain expeditiously about how it has impacted the lives of black people after 305 years. So let us continue reading the rest of it. Like I said, last week we got to how distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. Now let's continue Willie Lynch's Let's Make a Slave. Now he says, the black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry it on, and it will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and male versus the female. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. Remember, listen to that again. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. That is to say, they must love, respect, and trust only white people. It says, gentlemen, these keys are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. My plan is guaranteed. And the good thing about this plan is that if used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Now, let's make a slave. The origin and development of a social being called the Negro. Let us make a slave. What do we need? First of all, we need a black nigger man, a pregnant nigger woman, and her baby nigger boy. Second, we will use the same basic principle that we use in breaking a horse, combined with some more sustaining factors. Now listen to this part carefully. It says, we reduce them from their natural state in nature, whereas nature provides them with the natural capacity to take care of their needs and the needs of their offspring. We break that natural strength of independence from them and thereby create a dependency state so that we may be able to get from them useful production for our business and pleasure. Then he says, cardinal principles for making a Negro. For fear that our future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both horses and men, we lay down the art. For if we are to sustain our basic economy, we must break both of the beasts together. That's the horse and the nigger that they're talking about. We must break both of the beasts together, the nigger and the horse. We understand that the short-range planning in economics results in periodic economic chaos, so that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires us to have breadth and depth in long-range comprehensive planning, articulating both skill and sharp perception. We lay down the following principles for long-range comprehensive economic planning. Now, this is what he says. He says, both horse and niggers are no good to the economy in the wild or natural state. That's the first one. The second one, he says, both must be broken and tied together for orderly production. For orderly futures, special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring. Both must be crossbred to produce variety and division of labor. Both must be taught to respond to a peculiar new language. Now listen to that again. We'll talk about that later. It says both must be taught to respond to a peculiar new language. I'll explain what that means in a minute. Psychological and physical instruction of containment must be created for both. It says, we hold the above 6 cardinals as truths to be self-evident, based upon the following discourse concerning the economics of breaking and tying the horse and nigger together, all inclusive of the 6 principles laid down above. Note, neither principles alone will suffice for good economics. All principles must be employed for the orderly good of the nation. Accordingly, both a wild horse and a wild or natural nigger is dangerous even if captured, for they will have the tendency to seek their customary freedom, and in doing so might kill you in your sleep. You cannot rest. They sleep while you are awake, and are awake while you are asleep. They are dangerous near the family house, and it requires too much labor to watch them away from the house. Above all, you cannot get them to work in this natural state. Now listen to this. It says, hence, both the horse and the nigger must be broken. That is, break them from one form of mental life. It says, break them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body and take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. Then he says, now the breaking process is the same for the horse and the nigger, only slightly varying in degrees. But as we said before, you must keep your eyes focused on the female and the offspring of the horse and the nigger. A brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles. Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking, but concentrate on future generations. Therefore, if you break the female, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. And when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. Now, he says that, for her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. This is something that we need to talk about later about the breaking process. For example, take the case of the wild stud horse, a female horse and an already infant horse, and compare the breaking process with 2 captured nigger males in their natural state. A pregnant nigger woman with her infant offspring. Take the stud horse, break him for limited containment. Completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle, whereas you or anybody can ride her in comfort. Breed the mare and the stud until you have the desired offspring. Then you can turn the stud to freedom until you need him again. Train the female horse, whereby she will eat out of your hand, and she will train the infant horse to eat out of your hand also. When it comes to breaking the uncivilized nigger, use the same process, but vary the degree and step up the pressure so as to do a complete reversal of the mind. Now listen to what he says to be done to the black male. It says, take the meanest and most relentless nigger, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining nigger males, the female and the nigger infant. Tar and feather him, that is, put coal tar and then feathers over him. Tie each leg to a different horse faced in opposite directions. Set him afire, that is, set him on fire, and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining niggers. The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger male to the point of death in front of the female and the infant that is destroying his will. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. All these things are part of what has broken and destroyed the relationship of black people. The way our culture used to be, the way we relate to each other, the way we treat each other is no longer there. It is all part of what Willie Lynch planned to destroy the relationship between black people. People ask, why is it that we don't treat each other the right way? Why is it that our relationship with each other is not right? Why is it that our women disrespect us so much? It is all part of this. Because next week we are going to talk about the breaking process of the Negro woman. And you will find out why our relationships are not the way it is supposed to be. Until then, we'll end over here and we will continue next week. Thank you and goodbye.